Hey guys, Misery here. I'm back, and it is November the 1st, which means Call of Duty is 6 days and something hours away. And also, Battlefield 3, this marks the one week anniversary since it's been released. So I've spent a little under 10 hours with the game, and I think that I've had enough time with it and enough experience with all the game types to formulate a good opinion, and I'm here to bring that opinion with you guys today. So to mark things off, I think a good starting point is there are two types of shooters that you'll see today. You'll see the arena deathmatch shooters, and that's the Halo and Call of Duties of the world. It's marked by there's no weapon sway, you move fast, everything is quick because arena deathmatch shooters are focused on the fast-paced, getting a lot of kills gameplay. And generally that's what the people like. But then there's another genre of shooters, and these are the war simulation shooters. This is where your Battlefield's, Medal of Honor, America's Army comes in. And once you get into the game, as you see right here, the gameplay is meant to be slower. This is a more tactical experience, and being such, you have to approach it from a different way. You go into Battlefield, and the first thing you notice is that you have weapon sway when you're walking. You run slower, you aim down the sight slower. Everything is slowed down, and that's perfectly okay. It's just a different design, but you have to approach it differently, and you have to judge it differently. So the first impression I got was that this is a different type of game. I'm going to have to take it slower. It takes me a little bit to adjust, but eventually I get used to it. So let's go ahead and hop into the game types. First one, I'm going to start off with this newest game type, which is Team Deathmatch. You see it's the one I'm playing here. And the way that I'm going to look at it is the way that I would look at any types of game types, how spawns and how the map design plays into the game. And first off, you can tell with the Team Deathmatch game type that DICE was trying to appeal to they're trying to appeal to the arena deathmatch fast-paced shooter crowd through this game type. And here's why. First thing I noticed, the spawns are random spawn points. You can still set down beacons. They don't work as well, but here's how it is. Random spawns. My opinion on a spawn system as a whole is that it should be learnable, masterable, but not insuperable. And what that means is that if I spend enough time with the game, I should be able to, most of the time, accurately predict spawns. But it shouldn't be to where I can put you into an unbeatable spawn trap. With random spawns, there is no way that I can predict. I can say, yeah, I know where you're going to spawn, but really I don't. It's pure randomness. And that's one thing that I don't like about the Team Deathmatch game type. The randomness of the spawns mean that it's a skillless game type. Well, it's not skillless, but it could be more skillful if there were set spawns. The other thing that I don't like is map designs. Team Deathmatch really needs symmetrical maps. When there is a central area in the map, and this is a bad example because Caspian is very symmetrical. You've got that no man's street, and then you have your two sides. So Caspian is a good Team Deathmatch map, but there's other maps where there's one central location, and you'll feel like everybody's flooding to that, and it feels like once one team takes over, the other guys are going to be randomly spawning around it, and they're going to be running to that location, and they're just going to get gunned down. So moving on, we've got Rush. Everybody who's played the beta knows what Rush is, and I'm going to be straight off and tell you that I don't like Rush at all. Now, from a theoretical design point, it's designed well. The spawns, the way they work, spawning on your teammates or spawning at your bases, the game plays the way it's supposed to play out. But here's the thing, when it's 12 on 12, I feel like that I'm Sam and Frodo and that I'm charging into the gates of Mordor when I'm an attacker. When you're an attacker, it feels like you're running into, a large fortified base and you're constantly going to get gunned down. And even if you're able to break the initial defense, you still have 12 people spawning relatively close to you. And it makes it so hard because the way the spawn system works to defend objectives with 12 guys. But maps play out fine because they're designed the way the game is supposed to play. It's like a castle siege. The attackers are attacking and the defenders are defending the bases. So the maps are set out fine and the spawns are fine. They work. It's just that it isn't a lot of fun because as defenders, you have it a lot easier than attackers on most maps. So now let's move on to Conquest. Conquest has been around since like Battlefield 1942 on PC when the 7,000-year-old gamers were playing it. And here's the thing. Conquest for the war simulation game type, and notice how I'm just saying the war simulation shooters. I'll get to that point in just a second. I believe that DICE has perfected it, and I'm gonna go flat out and say it, that for the large people engagements, Conquest, the way it spawns, let's talk about the way it spawns. You can spawn on teammates and on flags. Now, I just want for everybody to picture this in their mind. Picture on Call of Duty, let's say firing range domination. If you could spawn on flags, I could get to anywhere I want, and it would be so easy to spawn kill. It would be such a mess. Because of the long-range engagements that you'll experience in Battlefield, it's valuable to have people spawning on flags, and that's what I like. It's also valuable to have people spawning on their teammates, because if they spawn on their teammates in an engagement, it's likely they'll die. But if they're not in an engagement, you spawn on your teammates and it works out. So, spawn system with Conquest is really flawless. Then we get into map design. Because of the largeness of the maps, the slow down, paced out, tactful game, developers have a large room of creativity to put in a bunch of different features. Just on the Grand Bazaar Conquest map, you'll have a long hallway base and then market bases. And that's so cool. You see so many different types of bases. You'll see bases that have like trailers in it inside caves, multi-level bases, bases that are near vehicle spawns. And because of the way Battlefield is designed as a slower paced game rather than crazy hectic team deathmatch, the developers are allowed to use more freedom in their game, especially in the map design. So when you've got the nice map design with so many variety in the gameplay, along with the good spawn system, I think that Conquest, if you're looking for a large team versus large team conflict game type, then you're not going to get much better than Conquest. It's really perfect. So next we're going to talk about the squad game types, squad deathmatch and squad rush. Squad deathmatch is much more improved than team deathmatch because you can spawn on teammates, so they fixed the randomness of the spawn issue. But I still have the same issue of the map design. Too often it's not going to be symmetrical, and it's really hard to make balanced maps when you've got 4 teams going at it. And the same problem happens in squad deathmatch that you see in team deathmatch, where there will be a central location, one team will take it, and the other team will just flock there and get knocked down. So that's all I have to say about squad deathmatch. It's an okay game type, but the real star of the squad game types is squad rush. It's 4v4, and it's designed the same exact way as rush. Now, if you remember, the only thing that I said that I did not like about rush was that it was too hectic. Simply that there were too many people to secure an objective. As an attacker, it's hard to win a game when there's 12 defenders constantly spawning really close to you. Now, in squad rush, it's 4v4. So, whereas I can't fight off 12 guys, me and a teammate can sure fight off 4 guys, and I can often, do pretty well against 4 inexperienced guys. So, squad rush, it plays well. The spawns, the same exact way. Spawn on your teammates or spawn in your deployment area. And the maps are the same way. It's like a castle siege. The attackers are trying to siege the castle. The defenders are trying to defend the base. And I really like it. If you want to play a squad, not a crazy conflict with less vehicles, then I would recommend squad rush, right? Me and my friend hopped into it just the other day, and we ran like an 8-win streak in just 30 minutes because that's how the game works. Squad rush is designed so that it gives you opportunity to use teamwork, gun skill, and because there's less players as an attacker and a defender, it's a more balanced because it's not so hard to overtake objectives. So one last thing I want to talk about are the weapon kits. And if I could say one thing to DICE, the best thing that I love about their game is that they have perfected class balance. And let me break that down. Every class in Battlefield is so balanced. And there's one thing I want to say before this. As long as there's a created class with no restrictions, you are always going to find unbalanced. And I'm pointing this directly at Call of Duty. I just want you guys to think about it. If I could create a class right now on Battlefield with no restrictions, I would have a Scar Edge, a med pack, and motion sensors. I would know where guys are at, I would be able to heal myself, and I would have the best gun to take out people in close range I had good hit fire and a strong bullet. So because Battlefield doesn't allow this, everything is balanced. I know that when I'm an assault player, I'm going to heal myself after each battle. I'm going to be able to heal my teammates. So as long as I'm staying in smart engagements, I will be able to kill people at long range to medium range. But I know that an engineer can outgun me because he has a better hip fire. When I'm an engineer, I know that even though I'm going to have better hip fire, my bullets aren't going to be hurting people at long range, and eventually I'm going to die because I can't heal myself and I'm going to take damage. When I'm a support player, I know that I'm going to have the upper hand long range and I'm never going to run out of ammo, but I'm missing that firepower up close and other things. And I know that when I'm a recon player, even though I'm going to have best gadgets and have constant information where the enemy's at, I'm not always going to have the best weapons to take people out. So I just want to put it right out there right now. I love DICE's kit balance, and I think that everybody should do something like that. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the next big shooter is going to have the same custom class, but it's going to be like DICE. Like, you're going to have set classes, and you may be able to change out some stuff, but the next guys who find real balance in their class are going to be the guys who hit it big. So just to wrap things up, for what this is as a slow war simulation shooter, DICE does it to perfection, and there's nothing better. So I hope you guys enjoy the commentary.